Hi, hello, I'm Amy. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be playing my TBR game to find out what I'll be reading in February. So please come along with me as I do that and pick my reads. I am curious about something though. I was thinking today about it being February and possibly picking some romance books because 'tis the season. And until I started watching BookTube, I don't think I ever really thought about picking my reads based on the season. So I was curious, is that something that you guys do? Do you pick up romances in February, kind of festive holiday books in December, maybe based on seasonal fall, winter, summer, spring, stuff like that? Or do you just kind of pick up what you feel like reading? Do you do TBR games to pick your reads? Or is that just something we do in the booktube community, kind of a thing? But it just had me curious and I thought I would ask about it. But let's go ahead and get into the game and we'll see what I'm going to be reading in February. Okay. If you haven't watched my channel before, or if it's been a while since you watched one of my TBR games, it's a pretty simplistic. I just have a game board that I put together with circles that correspond with different card decks, and I have a little vial that I move across the board with, and then I roll a dice to move across the board. So let's go ahead and get started and see what I will be getting for my prompts. Okay, so first off I have a 3. Get a blue, I believe corresponds to, should be my lighter blue. Pull these out here. I have not been putting the cards back in the deck after I pick them, so I'll probably have to do that again soon. Because my pile is getting a little bit slim. Hopefully I grabbed the right deck. Go ahead and pull through. I think this time I'm just going to pull the cards and then I'll pick my reads at the end this time, I think. So I got a poetry book. That could be interesting. I do have 1 or 2 of those. I don't think I have one in my office, but we'll go from there. Oops. 2. Oh, good. Let's shuffle it a little bit. This one. Got one with an element on the cover. That should be fun. There are definitely some books that I am hoping to get on my TBR this month. Seasonal or not. Another 3. Okay, so I now have a token so that if I decide at the end that I want to remove one of my prompts, like one of the cards that I pulled, if I want to remove one, then I can. So I'm just going to put that down at the finish line for now, and we'll move on. Got a 6. Another cover, 1. Kind of shuffled these, but I think I'm gonna go for this one actually. Okay, so this one has green on the cover. 8. Another purple. Google ebook. I think I can do that. I might be tempted to remove that prompt just because I'm trying to read my physical one. Okay, 7. Oh, draw 2. Blue is probably the one I have the least of. Okay, so I'll do 2 of these. Romance, that's fitting. And sci-fi. I have some on my 26 of 2026 that would definitely fit that prompt. Two. Definitely getting quite a few. I was just thinking that I didn't want to be too ambitious this month, but it may not be in the cards. Go for this one. Okay, so we got red on the cover. And 6. Okay, so right now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Since I do have over 6, I don't think I'm going to draw an Illumicrate card, or Illumicrate card. They're just a deck of prompt cards that I got from Illumicrate, but I think we'll go ahead and stick with these 7, and I will come back with possibly some picks for that. Okay, I've selected my options. We'll go ahead and go through them, but first I think I am going to go ahead and use my -1 to remove the Google ebook prompt, just because there's other books that I do want to read this month, and I really don't have any Google ebooks that are that exciting to me right now. So if I decide to read one later on, then I will, but for now I'm going to go ahead and remove that from my prompt. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into the books that I am going to pick for the other prompts. So for Element, and hopefully this is probably a little bit of a stretch, but I think it's the only one that is. And I mainly want to pick this one because it would be doubling up on prompts, because I have another prompt for the Kayla's buzzword challenge that is for silhouette for the cover prompt, and this does have a silhouette of a rabbit on it. Well, kind of. Maybe I might be putting a stretch on it for that one too, but this is Dead Water by C.A. Fletcher. I believe this one is a thriller, and I'm picking this one because water. It is in the title, but I think it's also in, I think it's at least alluded to in the cover. It almost looks more forest-like, but hopefully that counts. This one is stretching it a little bit, but that's what I'm going to go ahead and pick for Element. And I'm running out of space on my desk at the moment. For poetry, I don't have a lot of options, and this is quite the chunker, so I may not get it finished, but I do want to go ahead and select this one. This is The Best Poems of the English Language from Chaucer through Robert Frost, selected and with commentary by Harold Bloom. So it is quite a large book, and sorry, there is quite a bit of glare. So I may not finish this month, but I do want to at least get it started. The next one that I really only have one, at least in my room, that kind of fits for the prompt. I do have other books that have romance in them, but I think this is the only one that is just romance. So I think this is contemporary romance. This is Letting Go by Molly McAdams. I don't remember what the summary or the synopsis of this one is, but it was a blind date with a book that I purchased from a local indie bookstore that has since gone out of business. So I am going to go ahead and pick this one for the romance prompt. The next one, I have 3 books that I selected as options, and this one is for green on the cover. So I have Wayward by Amelia Hart, The Darkest Part of the Forest by Holly Black, and Reaper at the Gates by Sabaa Tahir, which I believe is the 3rd book in the, I'm trying to think of what the actual series is called. It might just be Ember in the Ashes, because that's the title of the first book. But, so this is the 3rd book in the series. The other 2, I believe, are standalones. I do want to get farther along in more of the series. I'm just trying to decide if I'm in the mood to continue the series right now, or if I want to read one of the other 2. Both of these are on my 26 and 2026 list as far as books that I want to get to this year. So I think I know this one involves some younger characters, that there's like an elven prince that's in a glass casket out in the middle of the forest. And then one day they find out that he's no longer in the casket anymore. So that one has intrigued me. And then this one is kind of a rebellion against a conquering regime that's taken over and is more warlike than the other factions that are in their world. And one of the main characters is part of the ruling government and on a military level, and then the other girl was part of was part of the scholar group that was basically taken over and oppressed, and her brother was taken, and she's decided to go kind of undercover with the rebels to try and rescue him. There are some magical elements to it that were really unique and I enjoyed. I should pick this one. I'm definitely leaning more towards these than I am towards Wayward. I'm thinking Wayward's kind of a almost magical realism type story, maybe thriller. I know it was really popular when it came out. I think it was one of the best books of the year, I believe, or voted one of the best books of the year that it came out. But I don't think I'm really in the mood for this one anyway, and I think just based off of the stories that I've been enjoying the most lately. I think I'm going to go with The Darkest Part of the Forest by Holly Black. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with this one. We'll just make a decision and go with it. Next we have sci-fi, and I do also have 3 options for this one. And all 3 of these are on my 26 for 26. So we have Dead Silence by S.A. Barnes, which is a horror. I believe there's an abandoned ship out in the middle of nowhere, and they want to dock it and see if there's anything to maybe recover, try and solve the mystery of what happened to those that were on board. Then we have Red Rising, which is kind of a sci-fi dystopian, from what I understand, where they're on Mars, and there's a class system where each group of people is based on colors. Red is the lowest, and gold, I think, is the highest. And we have the main character that's trying to, I think, infiltrate the golds, if I remember right. And then we have A Memory Called Empire by Arcady Martin. This one sounds really interesting. We have a main character who I believe is an ambassador, and each ambassador that takes office is basically uploaded with all of the members, with all of the memories of the ambassador that came before them. So they have all of that information at their disposal. But something happened to the previous ambassador that makes their memories less reliable. It was damaged somehow, and just sounds so good. And I'm interested in getting to this one too. It's hard to decide. I think I am gonna save Red Rising for later because it will fit with a buzzword prompt at a later time. So we'll go ahead and save that one for later. Trying to decide. I do want to get to this one, but I think I'm going to go ahead and go with Dead Silence. I've been wanting to read this one since I picked it up. It is kind of a shorter read than A Memory Called Empire. I don't know if you can hear her, but my cat is scratching at the door wanting in. I would let her in, but not right now, kitty. So Dead Silence by S.A. Barnes is the one that I'm picking for sci-fi. For red, this one's going to be hard too. Because we have The Suicide House by Charlie Donlea? But there's a school and there's some kind of house that I think that's on the property back in the woods behind the school where the students go to have like frat parties. And many years ago there was a series of murders that occurred that were attributed, well, a teacher was arrested and charged for, but for some reason students that survived that have been returning to that house and taking their own lives for some reason. And now there is a podcast that's being put together to cover this story. I'm not sure a whole lot more about it than that, but this one does sound interesting. And then I have Volume 0, Issue 9 from the Book of the Month exclusive short story collections. This is volume 6. I've only read the first volume all the way through, but this is the red copy, so I figured that one would match with that, and this would be a quick read. I'm covering my face here. And then we have The Haunting of Payne's Hollow by Kelly Armstrong. I think I've read from this author before and really enjoyed her other books, so I am tempted to pick this one too. I'm not sure if it's the author I'm thinking of. I have read her works before and I really enjoyed her other books, though none of those were like hauntings. They were paranormal YA books. I'm not sure what the plot of this one is. I just kind of picked this one from Book of the Month because of the title and the author. But this one definitely matches my prompt for red. It's gonna be, oh goodness. It's gonna be another hard choice, because if this is the author I think it is, I would really like to pick this one up. This one sounds like it would be a good read for me though also. And then this one would be a really quick read, which means I could potentially get to some of the other books that I have on my back TBR. Even though I am torn about it, I think I am gonna go with the short story collection, and we'll see how it goes. There were a lot of kind of weird stories in the last one. They weren't my favorite, but I would like to get through this series and see how the rest of them go. But that should be it for my picks for this month. Let me try and grab, trying not to drop anything. Try and hold it correctly. Okay, so we have Dead Water, Poems of the English Language, Letting Go, Darkest Part of the Forest, Dead Silence, and Book of the Month exclusive short story collection. These will be on my TBR for this month. There are also some other books that I would like to get to, and I also need to try and find a book with keys, like keyboard keys on the cover. I haven't figured out which book I'm going to do for that. I may have to look on Kindle Unlimited in the library because I don't think I own any. I think I'm gonna go re-watch Kayla's introductory video for her buzzword challenge to see if she mentions any possibilities or suggestions for that prompt, because at this point I have no idea. There are some other books that I would like to get to still. These are left over from my January TBR. I did have other ones, but these are the main ones that I want to get to. So, To All the Boys I've Loved Before by Jenny Han, and I have read the first chapter of all of these. Rings of Fate by Melissa De La Cruz, and The Whispering Night by Susan Dennard. These I did talk about in my last TBR game, my catch-up TBR video, but these were all for goals that I have for 2026. So these two are for the buzzword challenge. I was hoping to get to them in January, since that's the month that the prompts were for. And then this was my book of the month pick. So I also have 2 books that I'm getting from Book of the Month. They give you a free birthday book, or at least if you're at a certain tier, you'll get a free birthday book. So I was able to get that along with my monthly pick. So those will be going on my TBR. So that definitely increases the books that I would like to get to. And I also would love to try and fit Once a Villain in there, by Vanessa Liu. I actually have it right here too. Just because of where the last book left off, I would really like to get to this one this month also. It doesn't really fit any of the prompts, but that's a hopeful. But anyway, thanks so much for watching. Let me know what you're reading in February down in the comments below. If you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe. Hope you have a great reading month. Happy reading, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.